So novelty is exciting, but consistency is what compounds. If you are watching video on YouTube, Substack, Instagram, etc., you will see that I am by the beach. I'm actually in Nusa Lembongan, which is a small island off the coast of Bali. Now, this is my third time visiting Nusa Lembongan for two major reasons. One is I love it. Two, it's actually mola mola season. So mola mola are these massive sunfish that are about the size of a car, and it has been on my vision board for at least 2 years to dive with them. So I tried to dive with them last year and they did not show up. And now I'm a little bit later in the season, so I'm hoping that they will appear. But as I got here on the boat, I just felt this massive sense of peace. And I'm not somebody for returning consistently to the same place or doing the same races over and over again. I feel like there's a lot of things to do in the world, and I love new experiences and new things. And I was thinking about the peace, though, of coming to somewhere that's really familiar. So I come to Nusa Lembongan, not a whole lot has changed. You know, there's maybe a couple of extra spas, the ombak huts, the cafe here, where I am staying. I haven't stayed in the huts before. I've wanted to stay here since I did my yoga teacher training in Bali. They're super cute. The cafe has had like a little bit of a refurb, but mostly things look kind of the same. And there is a real comfort to that because you know where to go for coffee. I know where to go for a run. I know where there's a couple of yoga studios. I'm not paralyzed by the need to make decisions because there's actually not that many decisions to make. There's very few places to eat here, very few places to go. So I'm here, you know, for the diving and to chill on a beautiful island for a couple of days. But you know, I thought about this in business and in leadership and this idea of consistency compounding. So you will recall I made a podcast and wrote some stuff from Japan a couple of weeks ago on novelty and creativity and new experiences and exposing our brain to new things. And those are all true. But many people who are entrepreneurs, including myself, we are quite visionary. We love big picture thinking. We love ideas. We love coming up with solutions. That's something that I could do all day long. And the fact of the matter is our teams are not necessarily built like that. And generally, most people in the population don't like this constant level of change. And so with our teams and with our communities, we can't be constantly changing the experience. So for our teams, we need to do things like pick themes or focus areas, KPIs that we're going to focus on, like 1 or 2 for the quarter or for the year. We have a yearly theme in our business and we limit the number of KPIs, the number of projects, because people just get scattered and don't get anything done. Similarly with our customers, right? Like if you think about, if you went into McDonald's, which is not something that I do very often, but you expect things to be the same. So you don't expect to go into McDonald's and see, you know, Thai chicken curry on the menu one week and then the chef changes the menu the next week. It just doesn't happen. And so a lot of the time, our businesses and our leadership are also built around that consistency. Patients come, they expect to our clinics, for example, our clients come to your business and they expect a similar level of service. And that's why people come back to places. That's why people go to the one cafe, because the server tends to know them and will greet them by name and they know their order. It takes that mental load away from having to discover a new person. Consistency also gives you a level of depth. Like you can go deeper into things, you can notice things more. I notice little things in Nusa Lembongan, such as how the cafe might have changed, or little changes that have happened around the harbour, like tiny little improvements that I would not notice in somewhere that I've stayed maybe for 3 days of my entire life. And we as humans, we build trust, we build psychological safety through consistency. So if you're constantly moving the goalposts within your business or your leadership, and there's no clear vision, there's no obvious reason as to why you're doing it, it can get really exhausting. Now that's not to be anti-change, because as I talk about all the time, and I work with organizations a lot, that people struggle with change and to help people be more adaptable, build more grit, build more resilience. That I'm not saying to be change resistant at all, But I think looking for places in your business, in your leadership, in your days where you can have a little bit of consistency so that you don't have to make new decisions and reinvent the wheel with every single thing that you do. The other day I mentioned on the podcast Steve Jobs, and this is a really famous example, wearing the same clothes all the time, because that took that decision level out of it. You know, I have a coach for my running. One, because I like the community aspect of it and the accountability piece, and I think it's really important. But two, because I don't want to get up and think about what I'm going to do. I want to have it sitting there for the course of the week, so I know that Monday I'm doing this, Tuesday I'm doing this. It just takes one other decision out for me. And so if you aspire to being a high performer, if you're an ambitious person, if you're somebody who shares this visionary, ideas, go, quick thinking, I just encourage you to think, do you actually need constant change, or do you need to build a bit of wisdom on what shouldn't change? Because I suspect sometimes it's the latter. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow for more from Endures.